Hi everyone, my name is Varun, Community Growth Marketer at Ampliz and your host for the startup show presented by Ampliz. In this show, you can hear founders share their startup experiences and learnings. But today, we have a very special Web Summit edition which is going on. Since there was a Web Summit happening last week at Lisbon, and there was more than 3,000 plus startups and 70,000 people attended this big Web Summit event. So among them, there was a very special startup as well, INS Insider Navigation. The founder himself, Clemens Kirner, has joined in this podcast show to share his experience about the Web Summit, who is a serial entrepreneur and the founder and CEO of INS Insider Navigation. So I welcome Mr. Clemens Kirner. Hi.
Hi, great to be on your show. Thanks for the invite, Varun.
Thank you. I really appreciate you joining the show as well. So straight away, let's get into how was your experience at Web Summit 2019 at Lisbon?
I guess you can summarize it very easy, crazy.
So that's
I guess I mean I attended to a lot of different exhibitions in US, in India, in Singapore, but that was really one of the craziest one, I guess, so far. That you start at 6:30 in the morning and it ends at 1:30 in the morning, and the next day it's the same thing. A mixture between having talks, investor pitches, client talks. I mean, it was really, really amazing. I've been there 3 or 4 years ago, and I just thought, okay, it's really hard to get settled and to see what you can do. But I guess it really, really improved a lot over the last years, and I was very positive surprised, to be fair.
That's great. So each year, the number of startups and number of competitors are getting more and more, I guess.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
and also, I guess the companies and what I like very much, I guess, is the mixture of investors, companies, startups, and somehow it's not just, hey, we all come together and it's a big startup party, because I mean, there are some festivals which are more about party and not about business. And I mean, at the end, you're there to do business, right? And I really like that experience. And I guess I had also on stage 3 different presentations for machine demo, startup pitch, and you always had a big crowd in front of you. So it's really amazing how the people attended and lived the whole event. Really very nice.
Wow. So what was the biggest moment for you at the Web Summit?
I guess, to be fair, there was no biggest moment. I guess it was a permanent experience from my point of view, that how many requests you get over the app that want to talk to you, how many investors proactively approach you, and to be fair, also follow up right afterwards. How many companies that we talk to, even from Austria, to be fair, big companies that we never met in Vienna, we met there. Partners from Brazil, Germany, US, was really amazing. It seems like the whole world traveled to Lisbon over that few days.
Great. So, and everyone getting together is something big as well. Like, you are getting a chance to get connected to each and everyone. And I believe that's one big thing at this event, right?
It's really amazing. I mean, I don't know when I met so many familiar people, old friends, and where I met so many new people from all the different aspects of our business. So it's really amazing.
Great. So moving on. So I wanted to actually ask you about your startup, like the INS Insider Navigation. So what is INS Insider Navigation, and how it solves the problem, and why INS Insider Navigation?
In general, very brief. I mean, as you mentioned in the intro, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and in my former company, we had a project. I had a project company in initially Vienna, then Munich, then Shanghai, and Hong Kong, for at the end AR, VR, computer deep learning. But in general, we were always using third-party technology, and a lot of the technologies that we were using was bought up by Apple, Facebook, Google, and all of the guys from Silicon Valley. And I mean, we started with augmented reality in my former company, I guess 2007, 2008, something like this. So really quite early stages, and it was hard to get clients. And then you finally have the clients, and then all of your suppliers are gone immediately. And this is when we realized that we always looked towards America for new technologies, but we realized that a lot of the computer vision technology in general and the research behind it is coming from Central Europe. So I guess a lot of technology is coming from Vienna, Munich, Graz, Zurich. And this is when we started a lot of different research projects within my old company. And one of the projects we already started with in 2012 was, can we, not like we've done it in my former company, tracking objects. I mean, you see now a lot of object tracking.
Yes.
In 2010, 11, we were one of the first one. But we said, hey, we not only want to track an object, but can we track us within an object? Since, I mean, GPS is not working in a building, and beacons and Wi-Fi, I mean, it's a lot of hardware, a lot of investment. And so we did a 2 years research project. And after 2 years, we realized, hey, that really could work out. It would be something big, but it still takes quite a lot of money, to be fair. And it's a different speed, right? I mean, in a project company, you're running against timelines. And when doing a product, I mean, you can develop in an agile process. You talk to your partners, your clients, and stuff like this. So then we founded in 2014 Insider Navigation and developed for 3 years the product. When it was ready, sold my first company to a German private equity company, and we were focusing only on the product. But against our initial thought when we founded the company, where we thought, hey, we now replace GPS outdoor and do now navigation indoor for airports and shopping malls, we realized our first clients are nearly all coming from industry, and it has nothing to do with navigation in the main purpose, to be fair, because we realized that 90% is really large scale augment AR, for instance. So it's like, we know within 1 to 5 centimeters where you are and where you're looking at it exactly and at which angle. And by this, we can project any kind of digital data. It sounds now on a very meta level, but what I like very much is we can improve maintenance routines, because out of SAP or Oracle, you can show checklist at a certain point, and only when you are there at that point, the checklist opens, so you ensure that the people are there. We can improve inventory processes, inspection processes, but of course also do dynamic routing, show live IoT data to improve that you see the status of the production, or when you go through a factory, we can visualize the 3D layout of a new production line, of a new shop floor, and by this can help you to see if this new planned shop floor fits into the old factory, and by this saving a lot of money, because you don't have any collisions, for instance, and you know that actually what you planned will work out, and you don't have to pay for changing that design. So this is the nice thing that we realized. In general, our playground is much bigger than what we expected. And coming from that background also, that we opened up in my former company, companies in every city then where we had new clients, we also said it's really too complicated, too cost intense. And I mean, even when we open up an office, we are not the experts now in Singapore or in Mexico City, because I mean, you always have to know the people. And this is why we said we are starting with an indirect business model. We train and support partners, but we give them our platform, which they can use for client projects. And now we are having 16 partners from Singapore to Mexico and everything in between and up and down. And it really makes a lot of fun, because we now got projects not only in airports and shopping malls, but factories, warships, requests for roller coasters. So it's really fun, indoor, outdoor. Yeah, and this is why INS, because I guess we work on this since 7 years. We are not only having a nice YouTube video, but everything that you see on YouTube really works. We can set up huge skyscrapers in 3 days or 2 days, from B2C navigation up to maintenance. And we went through really complicated process from our corporate clients. So our system not only is working on AR Core or AR Kit, but also on Windows, on Linux. It can run in the cloud, it can run on premise, on Oracle database, MySQL. So you see, I guess we not only have a nice pilot, but we have a industry-ready product which can run everywhere. And I guess this is a very different thing, having a nice small pilot and having something that's scalable within huge venues within a few days.
Great. So it's been a very big journey in Insider's navigation. So what was the biggest challenge you faced while you were working?
There's so many big challenges over the time.
Good. I would suggest you do name at least one thing which pops out in your head.
You know, we were working with third-party technology at the beginning, and then that technology was, for instance, bought from Facebook. And then we had no technology, and we wanted to close the company after 1.5 years. And then we said, no, we don't give up right now. We know that we're on the right way, and we know that there's a need. And I mean, the big advantage is that we now develop the whole stack from the base to the UX UI on our own. So everything belongs to us, and this can't happen anymore. The second challenge, of course, when you do something like this, is always money, right? Because you go back to the start and develop everything. So I guess having a technology, having the money to develop the technology, really developing something that has a market fit, then being able to sell it, and then being able to scale it and sell it through a partner network. I mean, there's so many challenges in between. So when you look back, it's really interesting, and it's really nice to see where we started and where we are right now.
Great, but the journey has a lot of rough paths, but still you make sure you have a very wonderful day right now.
Yeah, to be fair, thanks to a great team where we all work together and pulling on the same strings, you can't do that alone.
Exactly. So how many members are working in Insiders Navigation right now?
Right now, we are 17 employed people and 16 partners using our technology globally at the moment, and quickly growing.
That's amazing. That's a big numbers. And I think, so what was the biggest achievement? Let's say your being supercharged moment for 2019.
To be fair, there were a lot. When you're in sales, you always have a lot of supercharged moments, since, I mean, my co-founder is the CTO and he's more on the technical side and I'm more on the sales side. But to be fair, being on the Web Summit and getting that extreme positive feedback from industrial companies in Vienna, in Brazil, in Portugal, getting that feedback from investors from the US, from Germany, that itself, so the Web Summit itself was an extreme positive moment, but also having partners making really wonderful and very helpful and added value solutions running on top of our solution, so that you can say, like, we are the iPhone and our partners develop apps like in the App Store, and everybody who is using our technology just can add that products on top, where you can have very complicated solutions made very easy, and within a few hours you just activate them, and more and more use cases running on top of our solution, and seeing that solution that we developed growing through third parties from outside. I mean, that's really just amazing that people are building solutions on top of our solution and using this environment. So that's just nice to see after 7 years of development, that what we've done and what we developed, not only on the client side, but also on the partner side, has a very positive feedback.
Wonderful. So I think that's one of the proud moments for you and your achievement.
That's amazing. That's really, really amazing. And I mean, also that you got the requests, right? Like before us, I had a talk with our partner in Singapore, having projects in China. Then we had a project with our US partner, having projects for automotive. So just being able that your solution is scaling then also globally, and what my team and me developed, that's just amazing that you see that something really is spreading all around the world. Makes us very, very proud, to be fair.
Great. So my next, so what was the biggest learning you had in this, in your startup journey?
There were a lot. I mean, when you're already 17 years entrepreneur like me, you always think you already know that you don't know everything, but you think you know a certain base. But to be fair, coming from the project management side and going to the product side and then selling something through partners, that learning about the process, about the different behaviors in Asia, US, Middle East, even if you have it's really interesting that you see sometimes you globally have the same use cases, like for instance, maintenance, which is a big thing with our solution, but you have totally different KPIs behind it. So that's really just very interesting to see that you can scale something globally, but you have to tackle it with a different value proposition to be fair. Yeah, so it's quite
Great.
nice.
That's amazing. So since you mentioned that you also handle the sales part, right? So what is the customer acquisition strategy which you have?
Um, in general, what we are trying to do is we have an indirect sales model. So we are trying to find partners where we can bring them an added value with our solution that they can differentiate themselves to the competitors and that
Okay.
they have added.
Would you educate me because I'm not sure like how it works?
Yeah. So in general, we have that platform that you implement and then you know in a building where you are, where you're looking at,
Okay.
and that you can show any kind of digital information. So, and this process just by using the camera that you know where you are in a building, um, that's quite unique, I think, having this as a real working solution. We see this when big companies contact us and said, yeah, what is the stage of your product? And can we do a pilot or is this really something that we can roll out? So you really have the feeling, or you get the feeling that they already burned very often their fingers on technologies which not work out. This is why I mentioned that often that we are really already 7 years working on this because that's one of our big USPs, working very long time on the technology, having a very stable and scalable solution, and also knowing that it's a market fit and running in the industry. And by this, I guess due to that, that my CTO works with me since 15 years and half of this time he was using third-party technology and the other half he was developing that product that we have right now. I think we have a very good understanding for the partners what they need on the technical side. And on the sales side, this is what my part is, that we are now trying to find very good partners, like we have in Hong Kong, for instance, Netherlands, Germany, or US. And we are trying to find
Partners in
system
sense
integrators.
technology partners.
There
Sorry.
are system integrators, for instance, which normally do IT projects for clients,
Okay. Okay.
and they need some third-party technology like ours to be able to implement use cases for the
Okay.
clients. And
Understood.
they can use our technology on top to
Okay.
differentiate themselves from other technology providers. Like when somebody, for instance, now we have a partner in the Netherlands, and they are using our technology to make a product for exhibitions on top. So like for the Web Summit, we got the request when I was pitching, hey, can we use this for the Web Summit next year? Because the positioning
Oh.
and navigation does not work. And our partner in the Netherlands, for instance, made now a product on top of our solution that you can implement our solution on locations or venues like the Web Summit. You can
Okay.
navigate and position, but in the background, there's also a content management system, a plugin that people which are exhibiting can show any kind of digital information in front of their booth, videos, pictures, product portfolios, calendar to arrange a meeting and stuff like this. So it's really
Oh.
cool because you can link whatever you want with our technology.
Okay.
Um, and that's the cool thing right now. So that we are looking for suitable partners in different countries. These partners then very often not only make projects, but they build something like a product on top of us, of our solution, and we
Yes.
then like in an app store can connect our partners and they can use that different services on top. So when somebody already developed something in Hong Kong, another person can use it right away in Mexico, for instance,
Okay.
without having 2 months of development, but he can do it in 2 hours then.
Oh.
And this is our sales approach. On the one hand side, we are trying to target directly in markets where we see a lot of potential right partners. The other option is going to exhibitions like the Web Summit, or I'm right now here in Liverpool, having a talk about one of the projects that we started last year after we met the client here at the expo. So we're having a lot of talks. And to be fair, we are getting around, I guess, a few hundred requests over our website every year from companies all over the world, from defense departments, automotive factories, warehouses, and so on. And
Great.
all of this together then helps us to have a very good growth at the moment.
Great. So that's amazing. So what are the next 6 months milestones you're looking ahead?
I guess our milestones are at the moment really growth. Covering more countries where we have partners, having that partners to have quicker success by having ready solutions which you just quickly can implement. Yeah, and trying to have a huge market share that we can globally cover the whole world, hopefully when we have requests, and that we have everywhere a partner. And on the other hand side, of course, having a certain market share within that business. And as far as we have seen right now, I mean, a lot of companies are working on what we are doing, but till now, as far as we get feedback from our clients and partners, there's no solution in which you just can say, put it there and it works. And it's certified by big corporates. So I hope crossing like this, we can gain the market share very quickly. And this is now our focus.
And wishing you all the best for that as well.
Thank you very much.
So I would ask you one final question. So since you have a very, since you're a serial entrepreneur, having a very good experience into a lot of domains, starting from project managing to product management to sales. So what would be the best 3 advices you want to give for the young entrepreneurs out there?
It's a tough one, I guess, because everybody has to do his own learnings. But in general, I guess, see that you get your funding. I guess that's important, that you're not running out of money. You always have to start early when you develop a product, because it always takes some time.
Yes.
See that you have the right team. Either way, normally in a startup, I mean, having a lot of friends which started companies, both are very important, the sales and the technical part when you have a tech startup, right? Yes. Very often there's more sales or there's more tech. Having that balance and having the right speed at the right time, that's something very complicated. And I guess it's also really thinking about what is the right sales channel. I mean, that's really a very complicated part. Right sales channel with the right pricing. That's a very... To be fair, when you found a company, you just put a price there and they just sell it. It sounds very easy, but this is one of the most complicated things, I guess, than having the right technology where you ensure that you have the market fit. I mean, not only making a technology because it sounds awesome, but nobody's interested. Then only awesome for one person. And then also being able to sell it for a certain price that you can cover your costs and hopefully, of course, earn money with it. So I guess that whole puzzle, putting the pieces together, that's really a tough one.
Great. That was quick advices from Clemens Kirner. Thank you so much. It was wonderful hearing your experience at the Web Summit, as well as a lot of stories about INS Insiders navigation as well. Seems a very interesting product, and I will be just checking out. And guys, I'll just leave the descriptions down in the below, the YouTube links, because you should watch it. It's quite, satisfying to watch some videos. It is very fun. I was just watching it, so I loved it. So I'll share you the links in the description below. And don't forget to reach out to Clemens Kirner through LinkedIn. So I'll drop his URLs as well, so you can directly reach out to him for any partnerships, because he would love to always, partner and integrate, because that's going to be the next, next step in any ecosystem, in startup ecosystem, partnerships and integrations. Am I right?
Thank you so much, Varun, and great to talk to you. Was a big pleasure.
It was really an honor to have you on the show, and thank you for showing up, because that was a very short duration. You rescheduled 2 times. You realize that, right?
You reached out 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a very tough fellow to get, but thank you so much, Clemens. It means a lot. So looking forward to hear more stories from you in the coming months, because there will be a lot of stories in the next 6 months, if I'm not wrong. So
always happy to join.
So thank you so much. So have a great day ahead. Okay.
You
thank
too,
you, guys.
bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.